Let's get started with this, gentlemen.
Go.
I would like to know, what did your childhood smell like?
What does it?
Burnt wood and varnish.
Wood and varnish. Okay, that's interesting. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
My dad built everything out of pine, and he varnished everything with the special mix of varnish that was always in a big pickle jar. So my whole house smelled like pine wood, and occasionally he would burn it to raise the grain and then use a wire brush. So my whole basement smelled like pine wood, burnt pine wood sometimes, and then varnish on top of that. So the combination of all those smells and the sound of Hank Williams music really brings me back to my childhood.
It's amazing. See, I knew the question would spark something.
My dad's 80. My dad's still alive. He doesn't work in the basement of the house I grew up in anymore, of course, because my parents divorced and now he has a different space. But that childhood space till I was about 13 or 14 in the basement of my mother's house was his shop, and sometimes I go down there, I could still smell the smells, and all he played was country music like Merle Haggard and all the old good guys.
One time we were riding around in your truck, Jimmy. I came to visit you, and you so eloquently took me to the Chevrolet dealership so that you could have your oil changed. And on the way there, which was just
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was a great use of time. On the way there, your father called, and y'all had a great conversation. You interacted very well together, much like I would picture a father and son who have a passionate care for each other would.
Oh,
and at the end, he had requested, or he was going to send you an email. And he asked you what your email address was, and you were like, Dad, it's the same email address I've given you on every phone call for the last 10 years.
Exactly.
He's like, yeah, but what is it? And you were just so sweet about how you responded. You're like, well, it's Jimmy or whatever it is. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
And you gave it to him, and he's like, okay, can you text that to me? And you're like, sure, Dad, I'll do that. And I'm thinking to myself all the time, like, all right, if I had to tell my dad the same thing every time we talked for a 10-year period, I would be infuriated. Like, but you were so delicate with him, like the respect level high.
Yeah. Well, thank you. My dad's a fragile dude, so
Oh, and super sweet.
He still remembers my AOL email address, which was j4367 at AOL.com. And I got rid of that like 2 years into AOL. I had a savvy student who's actually now a famous news reporter. And he said to me, he goes, get rid of that email. He goes, get a Hotmail address with your name on it. And so then I got Jimmy DeResta at Hotmail. And then from that point on, then I got Jimmy DeResta at Gmail, Jimmy DeResta here, Jimmy. So that's my email addresses everywhere in the world. And so my dad only remembers the stupid AOL email address from 23 years ago.
Well, at least he remembers it, right?
Yeah. Why do you ask about our childhood? Well, Eric, what's your childhood smell like?
More than one thing.
What is the prominent thing? Pickles?
Pickles? No.
Beard wax?
Something Italian.
Yeah, it would be something. I don't know. Like sauce, tomatoes.
Really?
Yeah, we would make. We still do it every September or late August. We crush and puree and jar and boil and like pasteurize, I guess is the right term, the jars for storage for later.
Okay, so if your childhood smells like tomato sauce, what I would then ask is, if I had a picture, an 8.5 by 11 of just your face, and I hung it up in the front of a room that there was 150 people in, and I said to the 150 people, I said, would you picture this man at Christmas time with his family either making tomato sauce or tamales? What would you say?
They'd probably be like,
more likely be the answer.
He'd be like, he's probably making hummus. Neither. There's no way. It's just pure hummus.
No, most of the people would just say neither, and they would say bombs.
Bombs? Like edible ones? Like bath bombs?
No, that'd be
bombs. Like
that'd be literally an absolute hilarious play on words for terrorists.
Bombs?
You got me hungry for meatballs.
No, like if ISIS opened up a bath bomb store, I would laugh so hard. I would it's literally genius.
The ISIS bath bomb store. You'd be afraid to actually put it in the bath because of what it might do.
Well, maybe it's just it's a hummus bomb.
Andrew, what was your childhood? What did it smell like?
Cinnamon rolls. Okay, definitely cinnamon rolls.
For real?
Oh yeah, man.
Did you live near a mall, or is that something your parents made?
No, my mom, she would always make those Pillsbury cinnamon rolls. You know, like you peel the thing back, the thing pop.
Yes, my brother used to always ask for those as a kid, and my brother would always kind of supervise the cooking of them, and nobody was allowed to go near the stove. He would kind of stand guard, and he would hoard the icing with that little tiny metal lid. Nobody was allowed to go near the icing until it was time.
I love that, dude.
That's so funny.
Well, you see, the reason why I asked the question is because it sparks conversation. It's an interesting question to start with, and then look at where it went. We went from bombs to Jimmy's dad to, kind of fun things.
No, it's cool. Another funny thing that, and even my brother and I talked about this once on the old TV show Hammered, which I just found out is on Hulu. I get no money for it, so it's not a promotion from my bank account. But if you want to see old shows of me called Hammered, me and the old show, it's on Hulu. I just found out. But on that show, me and my brother spent a few minutes on camera talking about childhood smells. And one of the things we both immediately hit on was plastic wood. I even sent you guys an old ad that I found in a magazine of plastic wood.
Oh, the repair thing, the repair stuff?
Now it's owned by DAP, but back at the time, like in the 50s, it was probably owned by, it was its own company. These little products get bought up. But the product called plastic wood in a yellow and red can, my dad used it constantly. So growing up, like me and my brother said, oh, that smell was just always in the workshop. Always the can. It's like it's acetone or something, so it always vapors off. So the cans are always open. And the lid, the can is upside down. The lid is on the bottom, so when you close it on the shelf, it doesn't vapor out. So the lid, we were always kids like wondering why the label was on upside down.
So have you seen the guy on Instagram or whatever? They pop up every once in a while for me. There'll be like a piece of furniture that has a corner that's broken or a thing out of the top, and he like crushes Fruit Loops and spaghetti and donuts and then puts glue on there, and then all of a sudden it's a perfect like match to the wood grain.
Yeah, I think it's.
Is that even possible?
I think it's a gimmick. People always say, "Oh, you're fixing that with noodles, with ramen noodles." The guy does ramen noodles in CA glue to like fill holes. It's a total joke. It's like what is that YouTube channel? My buddy just sent me a link to it last night. How to Make Everything, where the guy just like slaps stuff together like angrily.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I watched
this is an actual YouTube channel.
It's called How To Basic.
That's it.
How To Basic.
It's fantastic. It's an Australian guy that has just taken. He started, which was one of my favorite videos. He started with like how to touch an apple to the wall, and it's about a 2-second video. And it's hilarious.
Easy, can you pull that up?
Because it's exactly what you think it is. And then now he's just like one of the biggest guys. Like, look, 15 million subscribers. Like, it's just amazing.
His latest one, washing dishes, is really fun. Like, go towards the middle of the video if you're going to watch the How to Dishes one. How to wash dishes.
Yeah, it just gets out of hand kind of quickly.
So if you go to the middle, he's washing dishes, he or she or whoever it is, and they're showing you how to wash dishes. And then like kind of towards the middle, all of a sudden, like the music turns to horror music, and there's just dishes everywhere in the kitchen. And then they just start getting smashed angrily into a bucket, like thousands of frames per second, which is pretty cool.
It's I see. So it's oh my god, yeah.
See, it's like a horror movie
everywhere. Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, boom,
my god. My question always was like, does he rent a specific apartment just to smash things and destroy things into oblivion? Because like his entire life is just cleaning up the mess he makes.
How many plates did he have to buy to do that? There you go. Wash the pieces.
That's what I mean.
What's funny, what cracks him about How to Basic, it's like if your brain was like a wet, damaged hard drive, like this is what the results would be.
Yeah, but it's also what I actually want to do when I have the dishes. Like I'd rather just smash them into a million pieces.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be a slave to this inanimate object. Like, it's too much.
The guy has major fingernail biting problems.
Oh yeah.
And this is what Andrew takes out of this video.
It is funny. I always try and make sure I don't show my fingers when the fingernails are bitten back. My fingernails break before I bite them back. But if I do have like a weird fingernail, I try and kind of like hide it.
That whole hand thing that I started the other day with you, I still today get pictures of people's hands that are all like marred up and angled and crap. I'm like, all right, I've seen enough of this gory stuff to last me for a while.
Yeah. It happens every once in a while. People show their work.
Did someone send you one with like no hands? Just like
no, but I've sold several of these and these and
like shocker
that had like stuff all guard out here and
Did you guys see 50? You guys follow 50/50 Forge? He just lost his pointer finger.
Yeah.
He was at his hydraulic and apparently he didn't turn it off. And it was funny because I was switching the dies in my hydraulic last week when I was making their furniture. Yeah. And I was about to start fiddling with the dies. I was like, oh, make sure you turn it off.
Yes.
Jimmy, let's talk about that. The furniture making. Okay. The stools you made were amazing.
Right now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Did you make them for yourself?
I did. I made 4 for myself, but I got an order to make 2 of them. So I'm going to start working on a pair next week.
Very nice. Okay, the question I have is, first of all, was the wood for that big mallet you made me a Bodark? Is that Bodark?
No, I think it's up here we have locusts in the backyard, and I have a locust tree that got hit by lightning, and then when Katrina and Tracy, they come make spoons here. The locust tree was felled in the yard. It got hit, and then a guy came and cut them all down, but I told him to just leave them there. So when Tracy came, we cut up the locust tree to a lot of little bits. And they've been scattered all around the yard. Some of it we burned, some of it we turned into spoons. And there's big chunks of it. And that was just a big chunk of the tree that got hit by lightning that was laying in over by the black barn. So
very nice.
I thought it was oak. So because the bark, everything's off it. And when I started cutting into it, I saw it was orange. I knew right away it was the locust from the backyard.
Are you muted, Jimmy? Why does it say mute on my screen?
No, that's CC.
Oh, never mind. Oh, okay. Jimmy, talk to me about the tool rest for that lathe. Specifically when you were using it with that locust piece.
So something really funny happened. Unfortunately, the camera was off. Otherwise, I would have included it in video. So I had that big log on the lathe. And that log probably weighed 40 pounds. And I only have 2 speeds on a 4-speed lathe because I need to have the motor rebuilt. So speed 1 works and speed 3 works. So I was on 1 starting off, and my lathe rest vibrates towards it because I'm pushing on it. I'm pushing on it the whole time. My lathe rest is on its own stand. I've developed the practice during this video to always keep my foot on one of the feet, so now it doesn't move. So by the end of the video, you notice it stopped moving because I started standing on it. But what really happened was I thought I got the log balanced enough. And so I was like, let me go to speed 3. Taylor, you were there, right, when that happened? And when the thing flew off the lathe, you were there, right? Somebody was in the room.
Scared the shit out of me.
Taylor was in the room.
Got sucked in.
Taylor was like playing with the chickens on the other side of the room. She thought I got injured. I mean, it certainly sounded like. So I put it on and I was like, okay, that's too fast. And I went to turn it off, but the motor was still spinning. And then all of a sudden it just went berserk. And the 40-pound log just flew off and broke my chisel rest. So in that video, you'll see in the beginning of the video, I have the offset part of the chisel rest. See, and in this section right here where Cece's showing it, it's direct into the thing. And while it was direct into it, the only way it would fit close is if I tilted it and leaned it against the lathe. So it's tilted.
So you're saying like it's hitting the frame of the lathe.
You see how it's tilted right there in that shot? Yeah. Now it's and I have a chunk of wood under the third leg, leaning it forward. But
interesting.
So in the beginning of the video where you see the little offset chisel rest, that's so I can get close to the table. It was just always on there. I never took it off. It was always on there since I got it. And now it broke in half from that big accident. So I'm going to braze it like you did this week with yours.
Wait. Is that the handle for that?
That
sledgehammer?
Yeah, that's a piece of ash.
Mackerel. Wow.
That's a piece of ash that was in the yard.
That's amazing.
So I'm giving that to you. You know, I was making that for you, and then when I showed you guys pictures of it, you said, I need one of those. And I didn't want to spoil the surprise, but I did anyway. So I'm sending it to you.
I want to give you the equivalent of 17 Virgins bedside.
Oh, well, you're a good guy. You've done a lot for me. So
I think the equivalent for us is like 17 antique lathes.
Exactly. I love it. Okay, the next question I have is there, with your big disc sander, one side that you prefer more than the other?
Well, one side is super sharp and one side isn't as sharp. And so if I don't want the piece of wood to disappear, I use
nothing. Yeah.
And the other one is very aggressive. So
okay, we're still on the video. We're watching Jimmy do this amazing Gallagher style sledgehammer, and he's dialing in his Camelback drill press in such a unique way that I hope everybody gets to experience that. Like pressure wrench to make sure that your drill chuck doesn't fall out of the.
It kept falling out. I'd hammer it in, it'd fall out. I'd hammer it in, it'd fall. And to hammer it in is a pain in the ass. I have to take off all the rigging to keep the piece in place. And
is it the correct Morse taper, or did you shove a bunch of brass shims in there or something to make it work?
It is the right one, but I tried to crazy glue it in, and I didn't give the glue time enough to cure.
Oh, okay, yeah. We'll just super glue the chuck into the.
No, what you do is you just throw some sawdust in there real quick and jam the.
I was going to try some ramen noodles and see if I can fill the space.
Yeah.
That should work.
I heard YouTube says that's a way to do it.
And I love the fact that you're using your cone mandrel to make a ring. Now that could tell anybody exactly how much of a pain in the ass it is to actually use one of those.
Well, I brought it up. You'll see at the end. I took the tip off, and then I brought it up to put it on top of the big anvil, just so that it was kind of like eye height, so I could work on it, look at it. But it was actually great. I don't know how I would have made these perfect circles otherwise.
Well, you would get a slip roller.
I could have done that. I just honestly don't have a slip roller that could handle that material right now.
Yeah. So, or you could use the front of your anvil. It's good.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that they're perfectly not perfect, right? They're going to be hand forged, cold forged.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I thought for a minute about starting out of a giant chunk of metal, something much thicker, and like drawing it out. And I was like, who's got the time for that? Ain't got time for that.
This is way cooler. Way cooler. I love it. I actually can't wait to get it.
Oh, thanks, man. It actually, and then I was real nervous last night when I smashed that fruit with it. I was like, I really hope the handle doesn't break. But I did not feel insecure about it at all.
Heavy? Is it that
It's
heavy?
really heavy. Yeah, I didn't really throw some shoulders into it. I really just kind of let the head rest down and just crush the fruit because I didn't want to blast off the handle. It feels really strong, and it is the center of that piece of ash, so it feels sturdy.
Jimmy, when I picture you saying I didn't really throw my shoulders into it, there's a couple things that come to my mind. Like, one is the vision of like some big burly dude like drilling nails into a railroad, and he's really throwing his shoulders into it. He's like massive, like one hit and the spikes all the way in. And then I envision you in your yard holding a camera with one hand and trying to do that hammer with the other, and like the shoulders that you're putting into it are actually quite like prissy.
I had a wide angle.
I got it. Beep.
I had a wide angle, a medium, and a taut going at the same time. So I wanted to try and look a little bit burly when I was throwing it, but I didn't also want to just break the head off on the first swing.
Jimmy,
but after the first swing, I developed confidence. I figured it felt strong enough.
It's a beautiful piece. I love that you harvested it from the wild like that.
Yeah, it's from the yard. I want to make another one. And the idea of the taper came while I was working on the lathe. I tapered the headstock as I was working on it. And I'm like, oh, wow, that would be a great way to keep the head on. Just have it taper up and in like a European-style hammer. And that's why right away I was like, okay, I'll do this, but then how the hell am I going to make the taper? And I went through a couple of iterations in my mind. I was going to make a piece of wood with a razor blade, a piece of steel going down it as the cutter. And then it occurred to me the fastest way to a net result would be to just make it on the plasma table. But the four fins were creating like a square hole. You'll notice the hole is a bit jagged. So if I did it again, I'd make a 6-fin plasma cut thing.
Oh, I love it.
Neat idea.
You and your fancy reaming tool. I love it.
Thank you.
It was cool to watch that whole process.
Even though
it's fun. You don't get to keep it. I do. I'm going to be so proud of it.
I'll make another one. That's what's cool. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to be at Maker Camp. We're going to make a bell, where it's a carnival thing where you can hit the bell. But I'll make another one.
No,
the only thing that disappointed me with the whole thing was the usage of the timber framing slick as a lathe tool.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Right. No, I'm not really, because I saw on that the front of it had been welded.
You're not a big fan of YouTube. That is one of my popular videos. I made that. I went to, there's a guy up here, Ray. I talk about him all the time. Chip, Tarnished, and Torn. You guys might have met Ray. He has an antique shop up here. I bought that slick from Ray for $1. It was in a bucket of rusty tools. I pulled it out of the bucket, and the top was bent over, just like those old cigarette ads. Remember when we were kids?
Right.
I think there were Moors that cigarette would always be broken up. That slick was pried. Somebody pried something with it and snapped it.
Oh Lord!
And it was bent on the actual tool steel is on the bottom, and the soft steel is on the top. It's laminated all the way down. So the tool steel snapped and the soft steel stayed together. So it looked like a broken chocolate bar, like a wrapper, when I bought it. It's in the video. It's from like 5 years ago. So I flattened it out and I brazed it. And I figured if I ever sharpened it back to that thing, I would just jump past it and cut it off and make it again. Just make a new front. So that was a restoration video I did years ago.
I love it. Super cool. What about the one lathe tool that broke while you were doing that in the very beginning?
I have a bunch of crappy lathe tools that I picked up. People give me stuff. And that's a set of tools that are really cheap and short. So when I stuck it in there, it immediately felt like it broke off the handle. Like I hit it and it went boom, and I knew the handle was broken. So just as a joke, I just let it flip and suck it in. And I was just like, this should be fun. People will enjoy watching this.
This is incredible. This is Gallagher, like 100%.
Well, that's it. I mean, I was going to try and swack a peg in, and then when I started Instagramming about it, and everybody was like, Gallagher. I was just like, I just got to do what everybody wants to see.
There you go. Jimmy Resta.
You should just put a handle on an oak wooden barrel.
Yeah, that's exactly what this looks like.
Like a wine barrel?
Yeah, and just start smashing stuff. Like
Jimmy, do you have Resta and that font anywhere on your body, like actually on your body?
No, I'm not one for tattoos. I don't really like tattoos.
Well, we could brand you.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
He actually does, but the A is his butthole.
The Cobalt air compressor makes me want to throw up.
Why?
Why did you buy that? That's so nice.
I did a deal with Lowe's a couple years ago, and they got a bunch of tools with them, and they gave me that.
You think Jimmy buys tools? Come on.
I should have thought about that.
I just got I can't remember the brand, but Zep the Auction King. Zep got a giant 3-phase 80-gallon compressor, like a horizontal compressor from an auction. And it was one of these things where he had to buy like a lot, and it came with it. And so Zep donated this big giant 80-gallon compressor, 3-phase motor. Perfect working order, except for after the auction, the guys moving it with the forklift crushed the switch.
Oh, no.
So I have this. Me and Patrick have to put a new switch on it. So that's going to be for the Black Barn.
And then he gave it to you.
Oh, yeah, he gave it to me. He's donated it. So thank you, Chris.
Such a nice guy. Chris is a good guy.
He's a good dude. So, yeah, it's
about the difference between doers and makers. I heard Lowe's, you speaking about Lowe's, I heard Lowe's commercial the other day where they're, in my opinion, kind of piggybacking the whole maker movement by saying, for like in their advertisements, like for everyone that's a doer out there, come to Lowe's and buy this so that you can do this. Is there really a difference between a doer and a maker?
I guess a maker would, if we really had to analyze that for some fodder, a maker is somebody that really, really, really physically like makes things, transforms materials, and a doer is somebody that's
like you're just blowing leaves off your lawn.
Yeah, doing the gardening. Like there is obviously a lot of house shit to do if you own a house. We all three own our own houses. It's a pain in the ass. You're constantly organizing, rearranging.
Don't you love being slaves to things that you own?
It's the best.
They really do own you, though. That's the problem.
What?
I'm sick of like owning things that own me. I just want robots to do things.
You don't really own anything. Stop paying your taxes. See how long you get to stay there.
Yes.
Andrew, what is a doer versus a maker?
I think I was just thinking about that earlier. It's like the doer is someone that's actually taking Adderall and doing lots of things, and a maker is they're creating things from scratch.
Right.
But it's sort of interesting how Lowe's is trying to. I think they're using marketing and buzzwords and stuff to kind of get people involved, right?
Yeah. They asked me. I worked for them a year ago. I haven't heard from them, and then out of nowhere, my agent's like, "Hey, they're doing this campaign to thank the frontline workers," and said to everybody, "If you want to make the word," that's why I ended up bandsawing the word "thank you." It was a little promotion that Lowe's wanted me to be involved in, and times are tough. I need the money, so I was like, "Sure, I'll do it." And
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised to see a lot of fans actually went along with it and did their own version of a thank you. You know,
Oh, they did?
Yeah, I did a few fans, and then I wasn't the only one. There were several people who did it. So if you guys participated in that, I thank you. I know specifically there was a few guys who sent me emails and stuff, and you know, it's cool. The TV show that I'm involved in making it now is also trying to get people to do stuff from home. It's all about doing stuff from home while you're not available to.
You know what would have been a better thank you is having your government order enough personal protective equipment for the frontline workers instead of sacrificing them for the greater good.
Yeah.
I got a friend of mine that does a lot of business with China, big business with China.
With China?
And he actually has enough test kits that he ordered from China to, in his words, test everyone on the continent. And
what is he waiting for? Is he waiting to do a deal with Trump?
He's offered them to our government, and they don't want to do business with them.
Because they're probably they're not even real tests. It's like a pregnancy test.
No, it's the same test that China used on their people. Exact same test. I think it's
same exquisite quality.
I think it could be because, you know, Trump wants to get reelected. He wants everybody to be the good guy and everyone else to be the bad guy.
Right. Well, did you see that guy whose wife is Korean? He ended up buying 500,000 kits from Korea.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
The guy, I think he's in Maryland. I forget. He's a governor. He's a Republican governor, so he's tiptoeing around trying to avoid offending Trump. But since Trump keeps saying it's up to the governors, he's like, okay, I'll take charge. And his wife had connections, and they ended up buying 500,000 kits from South Korea. And he met them on tarmac. The tarmac. The plane came in, and he met them there, and like he did a little tweet, and he still figured out a way to kiss Trump's ass through it somehow, just because he's on the same side. But Trump was like, oh, he had to do that because he just doesn't understand what we're doing because he's stupid. Basically, is what he said.
Everyone's stupid in Trump's eyes.
Yeah.
Has the lack of interaction with people affected you guys?
No, it's great. My productivity is way up. I don't have to talk to anybody ever again.
People that come by your house seems like every day.
No, well, I mean, me and Taylor have a friend, Ryan, who's been hanging out a lot lately. Ryan's kind of been in a bit of a personal funk, and he's come out of it. And lately, he's been helping me out a lot, just because he can't go to the city. He typically would be going down to the city a lot, and because of what's going on down there, he's like he's forced to get out of this funk and hang out with us because he has to get out of the house. So that's why Ryan's been in a lot of my videos. He's helping me out with the floor over there, and he's helped me out with the Cadillac a little bit, and then Aaron. So it's me, Ryan, and Aaron, and Taylor, basically, and Patrick, who comes up every couple of weeks.
And Taylor can tolerate you still? She still tolerates you?
Taylor, can you still tolerate me?
What do you mean tolerate?
What is define tolerate?
Define tolerate. No, the guys are asking if you could still tolerate me in this time of confinement.
Honestly, I mean, relationships are challenging, and I mean, I love you. And we have a good time.
You're talking to the whole world. You know that, right?
But you're gonna edit this, right?
No,
Brett's going to increase the volume and then like zone in on your.
Things to say, but I'll just leave it at that.
No, I know it's been challenging. We butt heads here and there, but we're both very strong, stubborn personalities in our own right.
Oh, really?
You don't think so?
No, you're not. No,
Jimmy,
no.
you're actually not.
No.
You're like a little pussycat.
You want to hear something funny? Patrick was in my shop working on something the other day, and he said, you know the song from, it's F You, I Won't Do What You Tell Me by, I can't remember the name of the band, Rage Against the Machine. He goes, F you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do it. And Patrick looked up and laughed and goes, who is this? I go, oh, it's Rage Against the Machine. I go, you never heard the song? He goes, no, but this is like your song. He goes, people tell you not to do something, and that's exactly what you're going to do. Yeah. So it was just a funny moment. I don't know how Patrick missed that song in the last 30 years.
Yes. I'm getting like nothing done.
Why? Because your kids are at home.
Well, my wife's a teacher, and so she's working from home, and I'm working from home, and then I also have the YouTube stuff. and the children are home. So there's like no time. Basically, I work in the half the day, either in the morning or the afternoon, and then she works the other half of the day, and we do kid stuff anytime in between that, whenever they need. Like, it's just nothing's getting done.
It seems though, Eric, that you have the time to sit and go through a book for 5 hours at a time. Like, is that?
Yeah, I know, right? That's at night when they're finally asleep, and I just go
Okay.
to the workshop, and I have like,
And
1
I got to
hour
ask you a
to
technical
myself.
question. How do you do that? Do you film like for 20 minutes on your phone and just upload the entire thing to Instagram?
Yes. I actually broke Instagram. I did it.
What did you do? How did you break?
maxed out? So I didn't know I didn't know what the limit of stories was per day, but it's 100.
Oh, really?
And I went over that, and it ended up deleting the first, like 50 of the 150 stories. And then I
really?
just started off like halfway through the book after they all finished loading. So what I really should have done is just went live, and then I could go kind of as long as I wanted to go.
And then the live will stay up as a feed for 24 hours.
And
Unless
then
you
it
put
would
in
stay
as a-
up anyways. So I'm just stupid.
Yeah. That's
No,
cool.
not stupid. Not stupid.
Yes, but it is fun. I love getting those books in when they do arrive. They're super interesting.
What book
Yeah.
is it? Oh, was it one of that's right.
Kenneth Cope.
Yeah,
book.
Kenneth Cope's books. Yeah.
Yes.
I love
any one
Cece's
of his
got
books.
the "Fuck You, I Won't Do What You
Perfect.
Tell Me" Rage Against the Machine video playing in slow motion in the background.
Nice. Yeah, that author, Kenneth Cope, any one of his books are fantastic. They're all specifically American, which is good or not good, but it would be better, obviously, to have every single machine ever made. But just sticking with American is fine, too.
We would play the song, but we would get demonetized and kicked off YouTube for our
Oh, yeah,
fifth song.
everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah,
knows.
probably. Probably.
I didn't until just
It's
now.
a very good book, but we are opening up here next week anyways.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because we haven't really had cases for a while now, like a large number, so it could get interesting.
Does that mean
We'll
I
see.
could mail you the Sally saw?
Yeah, like even so we like locked down everything when we had maybe 60 cases. And it went up to maybe like 350 after that, and it hasn't been crazy lately at all. But even with that, the opening plan takes us to like August 1st until everything's back to normal, and that's with only 350 cases.
Damn.
Because
Eric,
it's a
does
very process.
knock ust work?
I don't know. I don't have any.
Yeah, you do.
It's
Called nok.r.ust. Knockerust.
Yeah, what about it?
I want to see you got some there. Does it work? I want to know. Does it work?
Where do I have some?
It's on your workbench, dude.
What are you talking?
Right in front of where you were working on the Starrett food chopper.
What are you talking about?
He's so confused.
Where did you film the Starrett food chopper deal at?
Right? Are you talking like this?
It's by that, but it's a different can. It says on the side. It says NOKRUST. It's like a little black can. It's by that. Go look. I love that you're so confused.
He thinks you're lying to him.
I'm not lying to him.
The stair chopper is here.
Okay, where did you restore it at? Where were you videoing?
On my workbench here.
Okay, look on your workbench. There's a can of something that's black.
How would you know what's on my workbench?
Don't worry about it.
He saw it in the video.
It looks just like that. Thank you. It looks just like that right there.
Oh,
NOKRUST. How
yes.
dumb are you? It's in your own shop.
It's actually literally in front of my face.
Oh my God, dude! You need to be murdered, right? Yo, there, and he shows it.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that cap. I
Does
tried to buy one
work?
at auction. I couldn't get it.
What?
Does it work? Does it work?
What? I don't know. It's empty. Actually, it's still
all that
there's some essence of probably poison, but this can's in decent condition. I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, man.
It's a Canadian.
I love that cap, by the way. You got to put a picture of that cap on Instagram. I saw one of those at auction recently at my
the soldered on.
And yeah, I didn't win it. I actually put a bid in for a lot, and it had a bunch of oil cans, and I did not win it. But it had a few of those cans. It's the first time I'd ever seen it. It's got a cap soldered to the side of the siphon tube, so you either use the flat cap or a siphon cap.
I like collecting the penetrating oil cans.
Yeah, you're such a penetrator connector.
Yeah, they're not that exciting, but the problem is I can never really find the cans because they're so collectible that everyone wants them, and then when they show up, it's like $50 for an empty can. I'm good.
I have a can of South Bend oil that Kevin got me. It's an old can. It's a South Bend cutting oil.
Yeah, it would be cool. I wish I could come across more old metal penetrating oil cans because they're neat, but whatever. It's not one of my massive collection interests. It's just whatever I come across them, I'll pick them up.
Let me ask you guys a question. I have a problem. So you guys saw that old Cadillac that I have that I picked up for fun.
Yes, we can.
It's really just straight up for fun and just experimenting. And like I never in my life would have taken apart a power window motor like I did in the last couple of days.
Unless you were on meth.
Right. So I took the window out of the rear quarter thinking I'll never get this back in here ever. I took every bolt out, every track out. And then it made sense to me when I was able to see with my own eyes. And so yesterday I did the door and I just pulled everything out. I couldn't figure out how to get it out. So I unbolted everything until I was able to lift the window out. And anyway, I got that motor going too. I got to put it back together, but the gear is stripped. So I got to wait till I ordered a new gear on eBay. I saw one last time for $20. Right. But this is the bigger question. I want to drop the gas tank. I might put a fuel cell in the trunk. I might buy like a race car fuel cell just to have like. So I want to drop the gas tank, and I went under the car last night, and it feels full. It's not connected to the carburetor. The car does run, but it runs because somebody put a can of gas in the front, and there's a siphon tube in the can of gas. But I want to drop the gas tank, and it feels full. So I was wondering if I just puncture the corner of the gas tank with like a hole punch, just like a center punch, and just let it drain into a bucket. What do you think of that?
Drill a hole in it.
That's a good idea. I mean, I don't have to worry about sparks or anything. I mean, the gas is probably varnished by now.
Yeah, just do it, dude. What are you waiting for?
I was just wondering if there was some sort of like stuff that I could throw in the gas and like gelify it so that I could take it down without it pouring all over me.
You can't get the gas tank out at all.
No, I can, but then I run the risk of it, spilling on me.
So,
I gotta cut.
You don't.
Tube
that's too much.
I gotta cut the fill tube. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
totally.
You would. Antivirus is fine, but a little bit of gas on me, guys, it can't handle it.
The door had about 5 inches of mouse poop in the bottom.
Jeez.
That car was in storage for 10 years in a warehouse that I think just got demolished, which is why the car came back into life. And like all the dirt and soot in it is old. It's like, I mean, the mouse stuff seems somewhat current, but.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So it looked like it lived outside for 10 years, then lived inside for 10 years, is what I'm saying. Now it's outside again.
It's a great car. It's a great car.
It's fun.
Yeah, I guess you could, but you're going to then, I guess, weld up the hole after?
Well, I don't know if the gas tank's even usable. It might have so much rust in it and just from sediment. I'll just put a new one in.
Dude, new gas tank and new gas lines always. So important.
Yeah. So then do whatever you want with that tank. Just smash it with your massive hammer. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, no. So I guess and it has a big dent in it, obviously, but the dent doesn't seem to have a crack. So I guess
not a dent.
I'll just gently put like an ice pick to it and hit it with a hammer gently, and just put a little flow hole in the bottom at the lowest point. Let it rin out. Then it'll clog up with rust.
Yeah, but do that like put it back on your trailer, drill the hole, and then drive down the highway so it doesn't spill on your property.
You guys want to know a funny story? No, well, it's at the racetrack. I would collect it. I wouldn't just let it go on the ground. But a funny story. So when I was a kid, me and my brother I was about 16. He was about 17, 18. And we were driving in Queens. And Queens used to be super like neglected neighborhood, this part of Queens. You drive and you feel like your tires are going to break off. And we hit a big pothole and we were in a 4-door Grand Torino, like a 1970 Torino. And we hit a bump and kaboom, the car bottomed out. And we looked behind us, and we were leaving like a 4-inch wide trail of gasoline, and we had just filled up the tank.
Shit.
We punctured a hole, and Taylor's excited about the story. She's listening. We punctured a hole in the gas tank, and so we drove to a gas station and parked over a drain. So the water would, the gas would leak into a drain. And we got on the phone. We called my dad, and it was leaking pretty heavily. And we called my dad, who was at the firehouse at the time. This is in the 80s. We said, "Hey, Dad, what do we do? The gas tank's leaking like crazy." And he said, "Hang on." And he got back on the phone. He said, "I asked one of the guys here who's a mechanic." He said, "Get a bar of soap and rub it in the hole." So we went to like a deli. This was in the morning. We were going to do a flea market. And we went to a deli, got a bar of Dove soap, leaned under the car, and gas running all over my hand. I shoved the Dove bar into the puncture, and I just rubbed it as hard as I could until like half the bar was gone. It stopped leaking, and we never fixed it. It never leaked again.
Oh my God!
What?
We drove the car for like another year. It was like a real beater. It was like our car that we.
Interesting.
It was a 4-door car, but we would load it with stuff and take it to the flea market all the time.
I had a similar soap
gas
thing
don't work
with me when I was younger, except it wasn't with gas. It was the first time I said the word fuck. My dad shoved a piece of or bar of soap in my mouth. And I had it all in my teeth and all that, and I never said it again until I left home when I was 18.
Yeah,
Didn't work, did it?
Fuck no.
Now, when your boys curse, what do you do?
Okay. This is a very interesting. I don't
He's gonna
fuss
smile.
around my wife, and I'm not a big. No, she's fine with whatever.
I'm just kidding.
I'll tell this story. So one day, my wife was walking out the front door, and my son, who's 7, said, "Mom, unlock the fucking door to the car." And if you look at the camera
he didn't hear
footage,
you say that. He didn't hear that you said that.
he didn't hear me say that. No, you can ask him to this day. It was his friend Casal at school that taught it to him, whose mother speaks that way in front of Casal all the time, and Casal says that word at school, and so my son Ames thought that was great. I was just shocked that he used it in the right context. Like, "Mom, unlock the fucking door." Like, are you kidding me right now? No, I'm like, I was like, "Cece, how did you react?" She's like, "I couldn't stop laughing."
Yeah.
Like, it was so bizarre and so out of character for him that he really didn't know what he said. But so listen, I mean, kids are gonna say things. It's kind of like the whole drinking thing. Like, dude, if you make a big deal out of drinking and then your kids go to college, like, they're gonna be the ones that drink and party and can't handle themselves. But if you teach them how to do it responsibly, it's another thing. So there's not a responsible way to use curse words. It's actually phonetically quite irresponsible or not illiterate, but there's ways to get your point across without using those kinds of words, right? So I think in certain times it's okay to say those things, but it's better to teach them how not to use that. But I mean, if it slips out, I'm not going to be mad. Whatever, dude.
I would laugh so hard.
You just wait.
Oh yeah. It's going to be
so I'd be curious if anybody knows that soap trick. If anybody has used that soap trick before, me and my brother heard about it through one of my dad's fireman friends. Let me know. I'd be curious to see.
You just made it up on the spot, hoping it
No,
worked.
it worked. We shoved it in there, and we figured we'd like fix the gas tank later that week, and it never leaked again. And we were just like, forget it. It's fine. Fuck it.
So gas and soap don't mix, I guess.
No.
Interesting.
No.
Maybe I can use that in some way. Like, can I line the gas tank with soap?
And I'll tell you, going back, a funny story about that car. It was like a 71 Grand Torino 4-door. When we were kids, we would always get mini bikes and mopeds going again. Like we'd get them junked or fix them or build them. And I had a Tomas moped, like a pedal. You'd pedal it. And I would ride it around town, and I never even thought about getting it registered. I would just ride it until the cop stopped you, and then the cop would, decide whether to let you go or take it. And this one particular day, the cop took it from me, and he impounded it, which was a hassle. So I had to go and deal. Me and my brother drove my mother's station wagon to go pick it up. And when we were at the junkyard, the Grand Torino was sitting there, and we were just teenagers. And I said, "How much for the Grand Torino?" And he said, $300. And so we bought that car. I wish I'll never be able to find a picture of it. And then it was just like this Cadillac. It was something for us to experiment with and play with. And we used it as the flea market car. We would go do the flea market every early Sunday morning. Right. And I started learning how to etch glass with an etcher. So since it was a 4-door, we had the big glass windows, and we etched the album covers of of Judas Priest, British Steel, like
good,
holding the razor blade, and Iron Maiden, Killers. I like laid the album cover behind the glass and just traced all the prominent lines with a window etcher.
Wow.
So the whole car, all the glass on the car had heavy metal album covers etched into it, all the side and the back glass.
I wonder.
You remember the movie Clint Eastwood did called The Grand Torino?
Yeah, of course. He had the 2-door.
That was a great movie.
It was the same as that car, but 4-door.
Cece just Googled the gas tank hack, if you will, and it does work. Temporarily, it does work.
Oh yeah.
Or in your situation, it worked indefinitely.
Well, there's such thing as temporarily permanent, which is usually
what put soap into a gas tank. That's one detergent thing.
When you put a detergent or soap in an oil like gasoline, it attaches to the oil and any water nearby.
Thank you.
How that means.
Thank you for that interesting update.
How do you fix a pinhole in a gas tank? Hit that. See what happens.
You get a new one.
Just get a new one.
There is some stuff you can pour in a gas tank that hardens inside. It's a liquid and it hardens, But it's easier just to get it in a gas tank. New gas filter and all that. Let's do it, dude.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm going to do. I was just because the car, the fun thing about working on a car like this is I don't have to make it perfect and I don't have to bring it back to original because it doesn't matter. So that's why I was just going to buy like a Farmer fuel cell or something and just like mount it in the trunk like an aluminum, maybe even like a step treadle for like an 18-wheeler and just mount that in the truck. It's like a side mounted gas tank.
You should make it run off of chicken fat.
That would be awesome. Well, the motor runs great. And I paid $1,500 for that car. And the other night I was back on Facebook Market because I have a problem. And I'm looking and I'm Googling the same car to see if I could find a parts car. And there's a perfect one in Massachusetts, which is like 100 miles away. And it says $3,500. It's green. It's got a white top. Everything is perfect about it. And then in the last line, it says no motor or transmission. I was like, I wasn't thinking of buying it, but I was just like comparing my deal to that deal going, wow, if I would have just spent a couple $1,000s more, I would have a fairly perfect car that just looked abused with a top. My car doesn't have a top. None of the motors worked on the doors. The electrical system doesn't work, but I figured I'd challenge myself and fix all that shit. But anyway, I'm not up to putting a motor and a transmission in a car. So
are you going to put a top? Like I would just hilariously not even put a top.
Oh, no. If I am going to customize a top, I'll make it. I've been looking, and Andrew, I'll ask you to keep an eye out. I'm looking for like an old truck tarp that has like an Amoco logo or something on it, like an old truck tarp, something that I could certainly make a top out of something that would be an interesting source material. So like if I have like a Conrail train tarp or something that is interesting, something that's. I actually bought an Army tarp online, but I don't really like the way it looks. I want something that's like a little bit more weird and unusual, something with like a logo branded in it still, but like beat up. Like
the tarp that would go on the Oscar Mayer Wiener truck.
Yeah.
Something.
Exactly.
Like you see like these like. You know what I'm talking about? Like you have the 18-wheelers where it's got the full-on canvas sides that roll up so that you could load through the side of the truck.
Yeah.
I'll send you the 9-inch wrench to use as the shifter replacement.
Oh yeah. No, it's gonna be fun. I already got a couple of guys who want to send me parts. Like they're like, give me something to make. I want to put something on it.
Yeah, totally. It'd be good community effort.
I'm gonna do a diamond plate for the floor. I have my buddy bought all the materials to do a diamond plate gate for the sidewalk in New York City, and then the client bailed on him. So I have all the parts. He was going to build it in my shop. So I have a 28 by 48 inch diamond plate, which is like an 1/8 inch thick. It's really heavy. So I have 2 of those that are going to become the floorboards. So it's going to be fun. It's fun.
I'm excited to see that. It'll be a fun, like you could just work on it whenever you feel like it kind of project.
Yeah.
Which are my favorite kinds.
It'll never end.
No,
it doesn't. So I'm also asking everybody out there if anybody has a friend at DMV that knows how to register a car without paperwork.
Did you ever hear is it Johnny Cash song or whatever?
Yep.
59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66,
One piece
67,
at a time.
69 automobile.
Guys, there have been guys that build those cars. You see them at big car swaps, one piece at a time caddies. They look
Yeah, I
like
mean, I
shit.
think when you have a car like that, if you don't get it registered, it's perfectly fine because if they give you a ticket or give you grief about driving it, they're complete assholes.
Well, I mean, I do want to get it insured and roadworthy.
Okay, do
But
you
I
guys?
don't have paperwork.
Let's talk about something else. You guys know Chris Cash, of course, and in Chris Cash's shop, he has on Instagram his handle is Slavic Smith. Okay,
Yes.
Ilya is his name.
Yeah.
Last time Chris was here, I sent him back with some wrought iron chain link out of my big chain pile, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Ilya sent me in the mail. I just got it last week. The most freaking amazing set of wrought iron calipers.
They made that out of the chain link?
They made this out of the chain link. Every piece of it. The thumb
Holy
screw.
shit.
Like my mind is abso-freaking-ly blown.
And it even has the degrees graduation on the...
I mean, these guys are ridiculously talented. How
Yeah.
did this even happen? It's just a museum piece.
That is gorgeous. Wow.
Is that not crazy?
You can use my mallet to hammer those into a spike or something. Hammer those into a piece of wood.
Excuse me, please don't talk like that.
Yeah.
We will not be hammering these into anything.
How did I
Out
miss
there.
that? When did they make that? I totally missed it.
I didn't share it. This is the first time it's being shared.
No, well, CC's got their Instagram up. I totally missed it.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
didn't
sure
too.
if I followed-
I didn't even. I wasn't following Ilya because I didn't know. I had heard of Chris talk about him and all that, but now I follow Ilya, the Slavic Smith.
He's
And I would-
amazing.
He's
talented guy.
really amazing. Like he makes some of the most incredible stuff. And I just to take that huge, 60-pound link of wrought iron chain and to create these calipers out of it is absolutely mind blowing.
I got to play with one of his swords during the He came up to the maker camp. Him and his partner there on the show. They came up to the maker camp, and he has a sword. I think he sold it for tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know which sword it was, but he had it there with him, and I got to hold it. It was just an incredible piece. Incredible.
And
Not
they're
that
also not that one.
No, it was an Excalibur kind of sword. It's unbelievable.
They've been making wrought iron hammers and stuff that are just incredible. Like
Those look really nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Some would say too nice, but I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. It's
You know,
like
I've been-
getting a new pair
I've
of
been-
boots. Like when you get them, you got to decide. All right, are these going to be your dress boots, or your regular boots? If they're your regular boots, you just put them on and get to work.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tool that you use, or is it a wall hanger? If it's a wall hanger, put it on the wall. If not, throw it on the floor, kick it around a little bit, and get to using it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been making some. I've been doing some blacksmithing at night in the backyard, and I haven't really been showing too much of it. But I've been experimenting with making some knives. I feel like I can't videotape every single knife I make just because it's boring, and B, I'm really learning. So without the camera and without having to worry about recording it, I'm actually having a really nice time just learning, experimenting, and not worrying too much. If they come out, once they're done and I'm happy with them, I'll put them on Instagram. But in the meantime, it's just me practicing. I think that's the sword I saw.
Holy crap.
That's
that guy's so talented, man.
Unbelievable.
Very
Really?
ornate. Intricate. That's impressive.
So you've been just making knives, Jimmy?
Yeah, just experimenting with the concept of pushing metal around and then working with the hydraulic press a little bit. Just to start developing my skills, because I don't do it enough. Like, did you see in the video that I made, the mallet, I made nails for the very first time?
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that section of the video. I made nails with a nail header, and I made I needed 8 of them to put 4 in each ring, and I made about 15 of them until I got 8 good ones.
Right.
So it's not as easy as it looks, especially if you've never done it.
Right.
So, yeah, it's in there. So Aaron got a nail header he bought on eBay, and so it's just like a little hardened steel with a square hole in it. So you taper a piece of metal, you hot cut off a piece long enough to make the head, and then you stick it in the square hole and you hammer in the head, and then you pop it out. So go to the end of the video. I don't know that guy.
The advertisement for free solar.
Let's see. Just click anywhere. Yeah, right there maybe. Let's see.
You made some
Go
nails
back.
at
Go back.
Makers Central.
Oh, wait, then you welded
I made one nail. That was actually the first nail I made. Right there. See, that's it.
But
So
wait,
that's I was excited about it. And so here I am tapering a piece of 3/8 steel, tapering it, and then I put it in the nail header. That's that anvil I bought with the 2 weird holes cut in the back.
yeah, I see that.
And I'm using a hammer that Scott from Essential Craftsman gave me. That's the one I'm using here.
Oh.
I tried all different hammers, in fact, actually. So there I'm using a ball peen just to do the ball peeny head part. And then you tap it. You wet it, tap it out, and there you go.
I think you did good.
Yeah, I did okay.
Could you imagine being the guy that makes those all day, every day, for years and years and years? All you do is make nails.
Well, it's funny. Steve from Moonshine Metalworks says he works in, it might be Alex Pohl's place, where the first thing you do is for like 3 days, you just make nails. That's it. Because you develop a certain set of skills doing those nails that is kind of hard to teach. You really got to teach yourself. So I'm going to try and do that one evening. I'm going to try and make like 50 nails. I made about 15 or 16 the other day, but I do want to make, I just want to spend a few hours. It not only will you learn blacksmithing, but it's also a nice physical workout.
What was the note you wrote in your hand at 12:30? Something you needed to do?
Oh my God, dude. I get good opportunities all the time, and it's like, okay, then let's have a Zoom call. I'm like, great, fantastic. Tomorrow at 2, fantastic, awesome. And then at like 4 o'clock, I start realizing I completely blew off my Zoom call.
Yeah. Look at the line. That freaking wood is so nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's really pretty, that piece of locust. No, so I had a meeting with somebody. I'm going to do like a paid Zoom call coming up, and I had to meet the person I'm going to do it with on Skype. And that morning I blew off a really important meeting because I completely forgot. And so I was like, I don't want to blow off this 12 o'clock meeting. I blew off a 10 o'clock meeting. I was so funny. Anyway, long story short, I have to write everything on my hand because my phone will go off to remind me to go do something, and I'll just ignore it.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. Like it'll ring and I'll be busy doing something. I'll be like, I'll look at that in a minute, and then I just completely forget.
You should only schedule things to be done like at night, or I don't know.
Just tell Aaron to like punch you in the face as a reminder.
Well, it's funny because I had a Zoom call the other night with Alex Snodgrass, the bandsaw king. He's the guy that makes the little reindeer on the bandsaw, and I completely forgot about that. And Aaron said to me, he goes, "Don't you have a Skype call tonight at 6?" I was like, holy shit. I was about to go and start smashing fruit. I was going to spend, because it was sundown. I was about to go do
Too busy, guys. Smashing fruit. I got no time.
I was
Maybe you could Friday night at the same time.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Impressive. Yeah. Yo, remember the time I got the key out of the power hammer?
You shut your mouth. Don't talk about it. Yeah, what about it?
It is done.
It's done. It's done so hard we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
No, we're proud of you actually for hanging in there for the full deal there, dude.
What happens now?
Now he just quit the restoration.
Now I cut the hammer in half with a torch.
Are you gonna paint the frame? Because I've been thinking about painting my frame. I was gonna just paint it glossy black.
No.
Gonna leave it steel.
Yes, it will remain bare cast iron with a nice little coating, and that's it.
The first thing that has to happen with anything that the two of you little punks do is you have to make the mechanical portion of the restoration perfect first. Then you can do all your ritzy glitzy paint and all that crap.
I agree.
But if the mechanical side's not good, then don't do it.
I agree. By the way, I was using my power hammer the other night. I didn't tell anybody in the process of making these knives I've been experimenting with. I've been using the power hammer.
That's good. I like that.
So,
do you have more than one power hammer now, or just one?
I just got that one and then the hydraulic, but I do want a little giant.
Yeah,
so
hydraulic press.
Once the hantavirus subsides, I'm going to buy a little giant from you.
Yeah.
No, I'll just give you one.
Just take it. No,
I'll take it.
No.
Of course he would. Are you kidding me? If I said, Jimmy, I'm going to give you a little giant right now. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll trade your mallet for it.
I'll trade you a mallet for a little giant.
And
some scrap wood.
Yeah.
Some scrap wood for it.
And a free forklift.
You turned it into a piece of art. Yeah, you need a forklift first, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm working on that.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Andrew, tell us more about your metal shop that you're parting out.
Oh, okay, cool. So there's a place in Paris, Texas called Riddell Glass. And The way that it works is, I think it's, yeah, I think that's how you spell it, maybe. It's like a third generation company, and it's a good running company. And the man that owns it now is the son-in-law of the guy that bought it, I guess, is the way I understand it. And the father-in-law apparently wanted the son-in-law and his daughter to be in the same town as him so that they could be around the grandkids. So he bought this business for him. And the son-in-law realized that there was a lot of stuff in that business that they didn't use anymore, So he wanted to kind of clean things up and get things organized and all that. So I was allowed to go in and buy all these things.
That's amazing. You did you got that crazy table that runs on one mandrel?
Yeah.
Talk about that table. Is that somebody is that a custom made table but made by someone like us? Is that from a machine company?
So you're talking about the one that has the line shaft underneath it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is probably that's the reason I went over there, because I saw the picture of that and I was like, this is the coolest table. It has a Peter Wright leg vise on it. Okay, that's hardly been used. It has a really, really cool metal punch on it. Then it has a crimping machine on it, and it has a circle shear on it. The circle shear and the crimping machine run off of a line shaft underneath the table.
That is run by a motor or a line shaft?
It's run by an electric motor now, yes, but go the other way. Go down. Yeah.
What line shaft does the vise run off of?
It runs off of the line shaft called your wrist. That's it right there. Anyway, so I got this and I was like, dude, this is the coolest thing. So they set that up. I guess in the glass company back in the day, you would wrap the glass in different, lead or whatever. And then I was told that they also did gutters for the house, and then they did the standing seam metal roof. So it all kind of went together, right? But it's interesting, like the circle shear is something you could use today. Anybody could use that.
Absolutely.
And the way that it engages with one lever is outstanding. Just it's always going when you engage the lever. That's what spins the circle portion of it, and it starts cutting. And of course, like look at this. It has a leather belt on there, and then that was their idler pulley, which was just a metal rod.
Yeah.
So it's a cool piece. I had to replace that. I broke all the belts because they were leather and cracked and all that, and they all they broke. But
did you keep that or did you sell it?
Yeah, I'm keeping that piece, and I'm selling or have sold most of the other ones. But yeah,
I was real. You had that cranky Beverly shear. I really like that. I was actually thinking about it. Then I looked back and saw you sold it. I was like, thank God.
One I broke or the other?
No, the first one on the stand.
Oh yeah, the Marshalltown shear. Yeah.
How did you break that?
I put a gear puller on there, and it just snapped it, dude. Totally.
How did you get the broken part off?
How dare you?
I heated it up, and I did it the correct way at that point, and put it in my arbor press, and pushed the shaft out. But what had happened was the gear itself had rusted to the shaft, and then it had a keyway, and that keyway had rusted to the shaft and the pulley, that bevel gear. And so it was like, it was stuck. I was trying to do it on a time-lapse video, and I wanted it to flow well. When you're under the restraints of things being on a video, sometimes you cut corners. So instead of me taking it to the arbor press and setting it up correctly, and 15 minutes later it working, I was like, I'll just use a gear puller and use brute strength. And when you do that with cast, inevitably it cracks.
Now, I saw you, obviously you brazed it back together, and it was the same exact timing when I broke my chisel perch on my lathe.
Right.
I'm going to braze my piece back together. What do I need to know how to do? I see you have you had flux coated brass. What else do you need?
The key, let me tell you, the key to brazing of any cast is getting the item hot enough before you add any filler material to it. Right. So I slow preheated that bevel gear in my gas forge.
Nice.
Until it was like 350 degrees, and then brought it out and took the torch to it and started, heating up that line as it goes across. But brazing is essential for the item that you're trying to repair to be hot enough. If it's not hot enough, you're never going to win. Like you could make braze stick on that gear. But really what you're wanting to do is for it to pull the brazing material into the crack, right?
That's why you flip it over and pull it up from the opposite side.
Yeah, so it worked out good, and the technique is just the heat. The heat is so important to have correct.
And now, how quickly will that turn into sparkles? You got to be careful because you'll melt away the joint.
Totally, yeah. If you get it too hot, then you're done.
If it starts sparking, forget it. It's over.
Yeah, if it sparks, it's actually already spitting things out like shrapnel, and it's just you're done.
Yeah.
And you see here, I just did a maintenance restoration, what I call maintenance restoration, where you bring this thing back to 100% mechanical functionality.
Like a mechanical restoration.
Yeah, it's perfect. But it doesn't look that pretty, but it's ready to work. You know what I'm saying?
My question is, with your brazing, did you clean up any exposed metal to make like a nice...
Did you grind a bevel? It didn't look like it.
I totally did. Yeah, if you go back and look.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because if you think about this, when cast breaks, it's like a puzzle piece. It fits back together perfectly, right? You could actually hold two broken casts pieced together and it look seamless almost.
Right.
And if
CA glue.
Yeah, if you reverse back a little bit, CC, where I was brazing this gear. Oh, I think it's a different video, but you see when I push it together, you can see right there.
There is a line. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you left a little bevel, so it's got something to fall into.
Yeah, so I beveled on that side, and then where the gears came together, I beveled that and flipped it over, and I beveled the other side as well. See how open that is?
Yep.
And it wasn't a real thick piece, so it's like the beveling didn't have to be too aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it worked out good, and I tried it out. It worked. I mean,
what you don't want to do, if anyone's listening and they want to try this, you don't want to get rid of any of the puzzling so that the piece will fit together properly.
Well, you totally can. There's no issue.
No, I'm saying like if
you have to match it perfectly.
Yeah, you just got to make it. The puzzling will help you match the broken pieces together.
Yes, but if that puzzling has been infected with something that isn't pure steel, then you're screwed.
COVID.
In the sense that if it's dirty, if you can't get that braze to it here, you're screwed, and you got to kind of rematch it.
You can get the braze to it here if it's clean and if you get the heat correct. It's got to be hot, dude. Got to be
hot.
It's a time lapse. Me heating that up was slowly, to get it that hot, right?
That's why I'm interested in TIG brazing. I want to learn. It seems very interesting to me.
Taylor just left, but she tigs her furniture with architectural bronze. I think is what it is.
So is that silicone bronze or aluminum bronze?
Silicone bronze. She does.
Okay, so with aluminum bronze, I'm interested in that because you end up using AC TIG for that, like it is aluminum. And what happens with AC TIG is it will bring up all the impurities in the cast iron to the surface, and you get a better adhesion, although it's not as strong as silicone bronze. It's still enough. So it's incredibly interesting to see all those impurities rise to the top due to the AC tigging. So I want to try that. I want to see how it is. And obviously you still need to preheat the part before you do that. And it's a little weird, I guess, versus normal AC tigging because you're literally, you can't melt the cast iron when you're TIG brazing. And it's very easy apparently to just melt the cast iron in 2 seconds. So it might be a tough call. I don't know. I would love to try it though, because I just had that little torch thing.
What did you a new machine?
Eric, I was flipping through your stories the other day and it disappeared. You broke something and had to braze it. What was that you broke?
I didn't break. It was broken.
And what was it?
It was a piece.
You broke it, you liar.
No, it was a piece off of a bandsaw filer machine.
And how did you braze it? You brazed it with a torch, just like with that little...
Yes, just a full torch. I have that little tiny, what at least they call a Detroit torch.
Trigger? And what does the trigger do? It introduces oxygen?
The trigger does... Well, the trigger is not activated.
Oh.
That's for cutting, but it's just more that the tips are super, super tiny, and it's kind of a pistol grip design. It makes it easier to do that brazing stuff in really tiny spots. And that's fine. It's perfect. I don't need to use like a bunch of brazing. It just goes where it needs to go. And it worked out great. It's fantastic.
Wait, does someone really have a hand tool rescue tattoo? Is that true?
I just saw
Yes. Yeah.
CC scrolling through the feed.
Australia.
Outstanding. That's pretty cool.
I have 2 ice pick tattoos somewhere in the world.
Do you really?
That I know of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yes, a lot of people are interested in that torch for some reason.
Eric, can I ask you something? Maybe this isn't a topic that you want to talk about at all. Can you talk about how many people you upset with the Jesus hand playing video? We can edit this all out if it's not a good topic.
No, okay. First,
are you about to get canceled, or like what's going to happen? Is like the church going to cancel you?
About to get canceled? No. First of all, like 94% of people on YouTube found that completely fine. So it's not. I only maybe got like 5 emails from people that weren't happy
Can
about
I clear something up? Do you think you are Jesus? I saw you had the stigmata in your palms. Do you think you're Jesus?
Am I Jesus Christ?
Do you think you're Jesus? Let's just clear this up. Or did you just have like were you playing bingo and you were testing your ink blotter? Like what was going on?
If you look at what they actually think Jesus could have looked like, I'm probably closer to that than most other people.
Than the Roman son of an emperor.
Yeah, than the long-haired guy. But no, it was actually fine. I thought it would. I was worried a little bit, but it was totally.
What are you worried about? What the feedback that you're getting is from the comment section, so don't read the comments.
Well, what I worry about mostly, which is the same with every other video, is that people don't understand what they're watching. You know, a lot of the comments were you forgot to put the front handle on the plane.
That was the cross, wasn't it?
But no, that's the back handle. They think it's supposed to be like a 2-handled plane, like a modern steel plane, but that's not how wooden planes were made ever. Anyways, it was fine. It was totally fine. Some people didn't really understand what I was getting at, and that might be my fault for not explaining it, although I did in the description. The point of this was that everyone on YouTube is chasing this imaginary views of like the most rare, the most unique item that could possibly exist. So if I just bring that to its inevitable conclusion, it's I found the hand plane of Jesus Christ. And that's literally like what you're going to get more rare, more interesting and historically significant than that. No, it's over. I've done it.
Right.
So that was the point. It wasn't, I'm not doing it to like purposely annoy people.
I noticed some people said you're making fun of Christianity. I don't even understand how that's even possible. Yeah,
I don't even.
That's because Jesus was the son of a carpenter.
But so what? So he would have tools. And this
I know, but people don't have a sense of humor. Like they're in their mother's basement waiting for this opportunity, and they see it, and they can't let go of it.
The best comments were the ones about, oh my God, you ruined a massively important, significant item in history. Like, yes, I found Jesus Christ hand plane in my workshop.
In Canada.
It was in the back of my workbench, just chilling in Saskatoon all these years.
Why the steel plug? What to explain that? I noticed a lot of people asked about it.
Okay, so that's how. So you would, a lot of old planes have this. You would tap that with a brass hammer, like I am here, and when you tap that, the blade pops out.
Oh, so it's like a vibration thing. So
and then you can remove the blade or tap it back in a different position, and then you would tap the back of the blade in, and then now you've reset the blade in a tighter position.
Never knew that.
And that's what it's for. Some planes don't have that you're just supposed to tap the living hell out of the front of the plane or the back. But whatever, this one had that feature for some reason.
Was there a lot of moisture in that wood there?
That's a lot of end grain. That's
Andrew, that plain body, that's the plain body of the wrought iron laminated plane blade that I was showing you the other day.
That was the coolest blade I've ever seen. I thought that was awesome. I've never seen a wrought iron wooden plane blade before.
Oh, that it's like 2 parts. Yeah, that was incredible.
That one. No, look at the grain structure in that.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
By the way, that's like that chisel that we talked about in the beginning of the show. It has the tool steel, and then it must be wrought, but it was broken and the wrought was bent and the tool steel was cracked.
You could see, right there where it laminated itself to whatever.
Exactly.
So I guess they were just offended that I'm picking on.
They weren't offended.
They were offended. Trust me.
Wow, for that to shave your hair is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's just sharp.
Is that what that's called? Sharp?
It's just sharpening stuff. Yes, it was a lot of fun though. I wish I could do more fun things, but the plane that I actually ordered still isn't here. I found one that literally looks like the worst hand plane ever made. I found on eBay from Ukraine.
Yeah.
It still hasn't arrived. I guess the mail system's just toast.
Now, you said you were going to do something with Chris from ClickSpring. Were you guys going to actually make a Roman era?
Yes.
Is that going to be a thing?
That is still going to be a thing. He's incredibly busy is basically what's going on. Like, he hasn't released a video in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping we still get through with that. It'll be a fun project because it kind of just helps. It helps me think about what's a good idea and what isn't. Yeah. The Roman one will at least make sense. It probably won't get a lot of views anyways, but I think it's super interesting. But whatever. There's a lot of things. I'm still working with this old Tony. He actually just emailed me during the podcast.
Oh my God, what are you guys doing together?
The pasta machine.
Oh, he is awesome. I love this old Tony.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's the greatest. So he's going to make he's going to remake this pasta cutter for the antique pasta machine, and then we'll send it to Alex, and then maybe he can do something with it. I don't know.
Oh, fantastic.
But we're working out something. I have all this material and stuff that I was going to give Tony, but he, I guess, just wants to order his own stuff, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
So here's a story for you. I got an email from Jesse James on Friday, and it was had a forward attachment to it of a guy who's owns a building, and the tenant went out of business, moved out, wasn't paying them, whatever it was, and they got all the machines that were inside the building because the guy, didn't pay his payment for the lease. And long story short, Jesse was like, "Here, go get all this stuff." It's all the guy tells, it's like, I read the email. It's to Jesse first, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Jesse, I'm a huge fan. I've been a huge fan for the longest time." He's like, "All these machines are free if you want to come get them." And so Jesse just forwards the email to me, and I read it, and I'm like, "All right, I'll reach out to the guy." So I reach out to the guy and said, "Hey, my friend Jesse sent me this email about the machines and all that." And the guy writes
want to
back,
get it to you.
The guy writes back. He goes, "That's great. I'm glad that you want the machines," but he goes, I was talking with my dad, who's actually owns the building. He's like, they're not necessarily free, but he's open to an offer. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you piece of shit. Like, they were free to Jesse James, but they weren't free to me. That's the thing.
Well, you're not Jesse James. It's totally understandable.
Yeah, you're a garbage human being.
And now I know why Jimmy DeResta gets so much free stuff, because he's popular and I'm not.
How'd it go? I mean, did you go and look yet? Are you going to go look, even though the deal could be potentially...
Oh, I've got pictures. I can forward them to you.
What kind of machines are we talking about?
There's a horizontal boring mill. There's 2 lathes. Here, let me look at it real quick.
1 boring mill, 2 fancy lathes.
Actually, I sent a picture of the lathes to A-Bomb, and it's the same Victor lathe that A-Bomb uses. How about that?
Oh, did you guys see Adam Booth machining the crosshead for the power hammer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It is exquisite. Exquisite. Amazing. Amazingly done. I'm so impressed.
Well, Adam only does things like amazing.
I know. It was unreal. It looks amazing.
Wow.
Yes, those lathes are big. But who even buys lathes that big though? Is it hard to sell lathes that size?
It's incredibly hard.
You got to give them away. Did you ever sell that one you had in your yard, that giant, beautiful one?
The Mazak?
Only. The guy, it was funny. He bought a truck to be able to come down and get it.
Just to pick it up.
Seriously, bought a truck to come get it.
Was it like 15 feet long?
Yeah, that one wasn't even that big, but he literally bought it. I thought it was so comical. Like he
That's
bought a
hilarious.
truck.
Oh, wait. Can we talk about Jason's bandsaw? Did you guys watch it yet today?
I haven't saw though.
I watched it. The first thing I did when I wake up, Jason, Fireball Tools, he made the cage for the bandsaw that we bought. He bought when we were all together.
Yeah. What happened?
Oh, no. It's just a beautiful video. I mean, I love his videos. They're really well done.
And that pulley that he's making.
Oh, my
God. See
God.
that?
Yeah.
It's glorious. Glorious.
He's making a wooden pulley with like a steel spokes. Jason's videos are really, really beautiful.
That's because he's very talented, that guy.
Yeah.
And
They actually
machines.
bought more than one of those bandsaws from him. They bought.
That's that's the one he bought, isn't it? Isn't that one of the ones he bought?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. It's a really neat design. I'm very excited to see that finished up. It'll be cool.
What's
even
neat
if
about
it like
the design
rusts a
of
bit.
the cage is that it somewhat mimics the time frame of the saw. It's not like these.
Yes, like the Racine saw. It looks basically
snowflake.
like that.
Oh, the snowflake. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think it looks like at least.
Jump to the end and show Andrew the hinges, the hinge system he came up with. It's really beautiful.
Systems.
And he
Too far.
there you go. You can kind of see it there. You can jump back, but he made the hinge. If you see the top, how it kind of sexy follows the. Yeah, nothing is actually tapped into the casting. Everything is used with available shapes and stuff on the casting.
Oh wow! Look at that. Good Lord.
Isn't that beautiful?
I love it. Jason doesn't mess around. Like, if that saw was being made like this to be sold on the market, it would cost probably $50,000.
Yeah, the amount of time and energy and engineering in it.
Yeah.
You know what blew my mind? His like cutting, like his drill bit and like end mill cutter collection.
Oh, has he got a big one?
Dude, he bought every size end mill cutter that exists and just has 3 of each in a massive drawer system and just walks over and gets whatever he needs whenever he wants. Because at this point, when I'm like, I just placed an order on McMaster-Carr for like $1 billion because I'm sick of not having anything that I need.
Right
when I need it. Like, it drives me nuts. So I'm just going to stock up on all that kind of like bolts and nuts and bolts. You know, like how many trips to Home Depot to buy one nut or bolt do I need to make per week? Like, I can't do it anymore.
No,
I'm done.
You should have never done that anyways.
No, I can't. I'm done. It's over.
And if you were here in America, you'd have to wait in line before you were allowed in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the same here too now. I know. But what can you do?
I got in trouble the other day. I like to get up early. Like I get up 5:30, whatever, 5 every day.
Why?
Don't you worry about it. I listen. Look at the difference in me. You're fat and I'm not.
Yeah, but you need more sleep.
I'm just kidding. You're not fat. No, I don't need more sleep. I love to get up and go, dude. I don't know what it is. My mind is always busy. So I go to the grocery store the other morning at 7, right? And the lady, I know I'm very disordered in that department. The lady at the front was like, "You're not coming in here." I'm like, "The store's open. There's no one here." She's like, "It's seniors only, been from 7 to 9." I was like,
"Oh yeah, right.
Shut up, lady."
It's true. They do need to eat, those seniors.
There was no one in the store. No one.
That's because they didn't eat the day before.
They didn't want you going in there and Tasmanian deviling up the place and ruin it for them.
Yeah, what is this shit? This whole aisle's garbage. Knocks it over.
Yeah. There's this one store I want to go to. Here it's called Central Market. And I think I've talked about this before, but Honeycrisp has different versions of Honeycrisp now. There's like, Super Crisp and
Excuse
Swiss
me?
Crisp, and they've like there's new generations of Honeycrisp apple.
There's more. Oh, the apple.
Yeah. And so
okay. Oh, the cosmic crisp we were talking
and all
about.
That. Yeah. There's a new one that I got to try one, and it was the most delicious thing I've ever tried. Right. And I want to go get more. But every time I drive by the store, there is at least 100 people waiting in line to go inside the store. And it just makes me want to scream.
Yeah,
like,
you can't go in.
I just want this one version of apple.
I just want this delicious apple.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so glad that food science continues to advance, so I can have delicious apples at my fingertips at all times.
Yeah.
Unlike Granny Smith Garbo apples.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
Those are
Yes, I have not tried the new advancements in Honeycrisp technology.
Oh, dude, they're so good. So good.
You know what? We had to wait online the other day at Trader Joe's. The line went very quickly, and then when we got inside, I just assumed it was going to be a madhouse. I was like, oh, wait, there's nobody inside.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You go inside, and there's only a few people in there, and it's like, oh, wow, this is really pleasant, like fighting over stuff.
It's one person out, one person in.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if we're going to miss this time.
Wait, this Cosmic Crisp new apple launched that lasts for a year?
Well, most apples
that took 2 decades to develop and allegedly last for up to a year in the fridge goes on sale. And that's ridiculous.
Well, like most apples are almost a year in a fridge.
I don't believe that.
Like after about a week, I feed them to the chickens.
They used to put apples in barrels and sink them into lakes over the winter.
Oh, really?
Because the bottom of lakes wouldn't freeze, but it would be near zero, and then pop them back out in the spring, and they're perfectly fine.
Oh, I want to show you guys something.
Are dope.
This is so
apples
cool.
are sweet.
I just thought about this. I haven't done this in forever. Oh, Jimmy, I need your full attention. Eric, full attention. Watch the camera. This is exactly what it looks like when a fat girl runs hurdles naked. Run, 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 jump! Run, 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 jump!
That's disgusting.
What?
You put underwear on that. That was gross.
Oh, I love it.
I don't even think I could do that.
Okay, so hot on the horizon.
I think I was just sexually assaulted.
So what, dude? I'm going on Thursday to pick up a 24-inch shaper. Cincinnati shaper. That was in the Campbell Soup Cannery factory, and the head machinist, when he retired, bought a bunch of the machines that they weren't going to use, and he had that as one of the machines. He's got a bunch more, so I'm going to pick that up. I'm excited to get it. It's like in immaculate condition. He said that they used it every once in a while to make some of the dies for the can machines.
Right.
It has very low hours on it. And,
going back before I knew you guys and before I was like deep into machining, I passed on 2 shapers because when I saw them, I was like a South Bend and a I can't remember the other brand, but I wish now it kills me that I didn't have hindsight to grab them. They were basically for free. I was at various garage sales and they're like, we don't even know what this is or what. I'm like, that's an ancient tool no one uses anymore.
There'll be another time that you'll come across that again.
My buddy just sent me, and his dad's got a junk pile, and everybody up. If you got property in the rural area, you got like a pile that you call your junkyard. So Austin sent me a video clip. He says, "I don't know what this is. It's in my dad's junkyard," and it was a shaper. It's a big one too, and it's missing the ram. I said the ram's got to be in the grass, laying around over there somewhere, but it needs a full restoration. But it's got a vise on it. It's got like an 18-inch wide vise. It's unbelievable. He says he's going to pull the vise off and figure out how to use it.
Vices.
But yeah, it would be nice to have a little tiny desktop shaper.
Those are the ones that are more expensive.
Yeah, like you had one. I think you had a South Bend one you sold a few months back.
Yeah, I've had several. Atlas. They're good. The 7B, 7B, 7B. They're great.
God. Yeah, shaper would be neat, but I don't need one when I have a metal planer.
Well, you could show the generational step from planer to shaper.
No. That's a garbage step. That was a step backwards.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, get this out of my face.
It's a reverse step?
Yeah, I don't like that. Metal planers forever.
What are you guys hotting on the horizon with your quarantine life?
Oh, God.
I got a chopping bandsaw that I have to keep bending over for, and the older I get, the harder it is to bend over. So I talked about this recently. I think I talked about it with Snodgrass. I'm looking for... Potentially, if anybody's out there, I'm looking for a stand-up bandsaw I'm going to say this, and Andrew's going to find it tomorrow, and he's going to force me to spend $3,000 I don't want to spend because I'm going to be one of those when am I going to see it again moments. But I'm looking for like a stand-up chopping metal shop bandsaw, like one that chops, but that's on a good base that has maybe an air feed to advance metal pieces or something.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
What are you talking about exactly?
Like a chopping bandsaw for cutting metal, but like a good sturdy one on a base that's like stand up high.
Like where the table slides into the blade. And there's like rollers on rollers.
Talking about a roll-in saw? A roll-in saw?
Like a bandsaw?
Roll-in is actually a manufacturer.
Like a bandsaw that rolls?
Yes, you push it down a hill and it cuts the metal.
No, just like I'm looking for a better quality chopping bandsaw, like those little shitty Wins that are available on Instagram. You know, like Dake makes a little tiny chopping one now, and then Win is the orange one that a lot of people use. I'm looking for one like that. I have a Craftsman that's 10 years old that's kind of beat up. That has
I kind of want one also because I absolutely don't like the one that I have now, but I know what you mean. Yes.
I want like a good stand-up one, like one that I don't have to hunch my back.
Were there? I don't even know. I don't even know if there are like antique or versions of those.
I have a Kalamazoo that has like a 16 by 16 inch profile. It's huge and it's in the backyard and it needs to be restored and I need a proper stand for it. In fact, remember the table we got from Smiley's? I have that on that table now, that cast table, and I put it in the yard and it's slowly sinking into the ground.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
All four legs are completely bare. I could send you. We got to keep up, by the way. We got to keep up with the Instagram. We've been kind of slacking on the Instagram.
What? Who did? On what?
All of us.
Okay, so can y'all send me a picture of this bandsaw, this chopping bandsaw you're talking about?
Yes.
I could. You know what? I have one from Louisville. The guys at the Louisville Makerspace have an amazing one, and I took pictures of it because that was the one I wanted. It's from Italy.
Mm.
Yeah. Could you send that to me, please, right away?
Yes, please send also to me.
Eric, what do you got going on, bro?
I got so many things planned and in the works because I just keep trying new things to do. Like, obviously, the power hammer is always in the background going. I still need to strip the paint off it. I need to strip the paint off the Bridgeport because it's white and stupid. I need to finish the pasta machine restoration, but that's with this old Tony, so I'll have to wait on him. And then I just started another fantastic bandsaw blade sharpener, even more intricate than the one I did before. And then I would like to get started after the bandsaw filer on the hovering lawnmower that I have from the 60s.
Oh, wow.
Which is really cool. And then after that, I'm finally going to get to the drag saw. It's been like 3 years sitting around waiting for me to get to. So I cannot wait to use that and get it running and restored and chopping some wood just for no reason. And that's kind of my plan for the summer, at least, is getting those two out. It's going to be a pain because the drag saw is like a 900-hour video, probably.
Oh.
We'll see. It'll be kind of fun. I have to I get to do some woodworking again, which I'm kind of missing lately. The whole frame is originally like ash, and I have a bunch of ash, so I will remake the entire kind of A-frame for that thing.
That'll be nice to see. Very nice.
I hope so. I hope it runs well. It'll be super dangerous, but it's just too cool. I don't know what to do with some of the tools I have anymore.
Oh, really?
That I've restored, like specifically the pedal metal lathe. I'm probably not going to use that. And yeah, it's cool.
Put it up for sale.
I should probably put that one up for sale. I really should, and maybe a few other things.
You should put everything up for sale that you restore, because it's not going to be used after that.
Some things get used, but yeah, like there are a number of items which I do want to keep for myself just out of interest, like the washing machine or something like that. But the pedal lathe it's more of it's more of like a museum piece in the
Yeah.
sense that whoever owns it is probably not going to use it.
Put it in your living room. I'd say keep it.
Like I can give it to Lance Armstrong. He's someone who might use it. Like
he's gonna
someone along those lines. Otherwise, I don't know. And I'm contemplating maybe I just donate it to the local crazy museum here that has all the cool old tools, something like that. But it's just it's expensive. It's rare and it's complete and new cast seats and all this fun stuff. Like it's a lot of work.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Well,
I'll think about it.
That's a good hot on the horizon for everybody.
It's almost too hot.
This is the part of the day where we say goodbye.
Forever.
Oh, did you know what I wanted to ask you? Did you see the picture I just sent you? I wanted to tell you a little bit of information. I sent these guys a picture of the bandsaws that I want. We'll put it on Instagram. And then the makerspace in Louisville has this turret hole puncher. Did you see that picture?
Wait a minute. Is this the one that Howard Hughes used?
Exactly.
Oh my God! Tell a story. This is a great story.
Well, did you see? Take a close look at this picture. I didn't know it until I spoke to my man over there when we were all hanging out with him.
Oh yeah, shipped to Hughes aircraft. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is an incredible hole puncher. It's got a choice of probably 25 dies, and you rotate it to the hole you want, and then you pull the lever and it punches a hole. When I saw that there, I'm like, you guys selling that? They're like, we'll never sell that.
It's called a turret punch.
It's a turret punch, and it's from Howard Hughes. It's from the Howard Hughes aircraft factory.
That's pretty amazing. And where does it live now?
It's at the Louisville Makerspace, first build, Louisville Makerspace.
Oh yeah, those guys are awesome. Who was that girl from there?
Katie.
Oh yeah, she was fun.
She was fun. Yeah, they just bailed out day 2. They didn't even tell me they were leaving. I think they stayed up really late and they had to get out early in the morning. So
really?
We missed them.
They were fun, man.
They were great. The guys over in Randy and Katie, who we hung out with. Randy told us that story about Howard Hughes. Yeah, they're making a go-kart for the July 1st go-kart thing. If we're going to still have it here, which we still plan to have it. Hopefully everything's back to normal at least by then. And they're making a go-kart for the go-kart track with a Mazda engine on it. With a Mazda.
Oh, so they're going to obviously win. Thank you.
Well, this local guy here says he's making one with a V8 engine on it. So I don't know.
Holy shit.
If that's even going to be possible, but we'll see what happens.
The only problem with the local guy is it'll just be a V8 engine that he sits on and has wheels that are hung on with a ratchet strap.
No, there's a go-kart guy up here who's pretty good. I mean, he's an engine guy. Troy. But
listen, gentlemen, it's been an absolute divine pleasure.
I think this was a nice episode. This was very easygoing.
Shall we remind people about the YouTube videos that are not surprisingly a decent amount of people are tuning in there versus like just listening to it over their normal podcast ways.
See what we're talking about. I would.
Yeah, so it's. It's been interesting seeing some listening or some views shift over to YouTube, and it seems to be growing, which is nice. So if you want to check out all the details, you can go there.
What do you say?
Unfortunately, the code expires at the end.
He promises to have a wired connection next week for our podcast.
Yeah, I'll buy. Is it okay to have is it going to lose quality if it's like 50-foot cable line from my router?
No, dude, I have a 350-foot wire that goes from the router right behind me on the wall through the grass into the black barn, and it works perfect down there.
Wait, no, Jimmy actually has one from his house that goes through town.
Yeah, in the milk run.
Yeah.
To the milk run.
No. One of my buddies, Jason, he knows all about this stuff. He was with one of the classes. He goes, "Oh, dude, all we got to do is," and he just did the measurement and he did like some sort of test to see like the drop off and speed or whatever. He goes, "No, you should be fine." And we connected it in here, and it was laying across the grass for most of the fall. And my buddy needed some money, so I was like, "I go bury that cable. I'll give you $500." He spent the entire day burying the cable. He had it's snaking around trees and everything. He did a great job. So the cable's buried about 4 inches in the yard. Yeah, you can't see it at all. It goes on the building through the foundation. He drilled the hole and everything.
Wow. I like it. Eric, did you ever figure out anything about the industrial router?
What industrial router?
Okay, it's been a good podcast, guys. We'll see you later.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, that's been fun. You guys have a sweet Sunday afternoon and go kiss a cat.
Love you. I'll try and get this edited tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, whenever.
Remember, there's one thing that must be taken out.
What's that?
There's many things.
Don't worry
if you think of them, text them to me. I'll take them out. I'll just bleep.
Okay.
I'll bleep. Love you guys.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
See you guys later.